Ms. Duarte?
Here.
Mr. Serrano? Here. Mayor Weiss?
Here.
Excellent. We have a quorum. We only have one item on the agenda today. It's the quarterly management report, review of the fourth quarter of 2021 results. The presenter is our general manager, India Birdsong.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Just will be pretty brief today and give you, can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. And I'll give you a quick update on the fourth quarter for 2021. As you have in front of you, it's a pretty good quarter overall for our general fund. Our routine revenues, as you can see, were a little over 11% higher than budget. Our passenger fares were down. Of course, because 2021 actually was inclusive of the first quarter that was full pandemic swing, if you look at it that way. In comparison with 2020, we did not enter into the pandemic in the United States officially until March of 2020. So we have a little bit of a variance when you're looking at a full 4 quarters versus 3 in 2020 versus 2021. So you'll see that difference there. Sales and use tax is also up nearly 14%. This, and when you look at it in terms of dollars and cents, is nearly $240 million. The top culprits, if you will, that will attribute to that figure is online sales, motor vehicle sales, and watercraft sales. So people have definitely started to take their vacationing and time off in their own hands, and you see that indicative of the sales that have contributed to that higher use. You'll also see the operating expenses for RTA is a little over 4% lower than budget. Our personnel costs are also lower, and fuel hedging continues to help stabilize costs. So we do report a pretty good report out for the fourth quarter for 2021. And of course, our ridership also follows that trend of full pandemic swing for 2021. So our operating expenses also follow suit. Looking at the transfers, we have done our due diligence when it comes to railcar and our reserve fund. $10 million have been put toward the rolling stock reserve, and $85 million, if you're remembering earlier in the quarter, we had a move over to our revenue stabilization. That was a management decision that was approved by the board to ensure that we could be stable for the next year. We also transferred $43.4 million into our capital improvement fund. We have significantly decreased our capital backlog, so we're proud of that as well. As you'll continue to read through the document in front of you, we actually have reduced our capital backlog. We are currently around $330 million, coming down from $500 million within the last 3 years. So we definitely are chipping away at that. Very proud to be able to report out that and get out more projects in the dirt and shovel. We also are looking at our bond retirement fund. Just a recap, we had a bond defeasance program of $57.7 million. This has reduced our debt payouts over the next 9 years. This is something that is unprecedented in RTA history and really throughout the industry. So kudos to our management team in the financial area. They definitely have put us in a pretty good situation when it comes to reducing our debt. And this also will contribute to our ability to enter into new programs without such a high level of debt going forward. If you recall, we also have the federal stimulus funding drawdown. We had a clean report as indicated by the FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, and you do have a breakdown in front of you here between CRTA and ARP, totaling millions of dollars that were actually drawn down in 2021. You also have what's to be drawn down in 2022 through ARP, and that will total somewhere around $81.2 million for the next year. So we definitely have also enjoyed significant grant and stimulus funding in order to get us through the last quarter of the pandemic. My last slide here really just indicates the federal assistance and how high that is on the bar chart as far as capital expenditures by category at year end. We do have it parceled out for you here so you can see the differences in bus improvement programs, facilities, and other projects. And again, federal assistance really has a high mark as far as how much we took in and drew down for 2021. We also had quite a few other different programs to be able to continue to connect through the community in 2021 in Q4. Those details are also included in your report here that you should have in front of you at the dais. This really just goes into kind of the softer side of RTA in addition to the hard figures to be able to give you an idea of how we're continuing to spend, especially in light of COVID. The Community to Immunity Bus will always bring you updates on that kind of thing, as well as marketing programs and partnerships that continue to serve the community throughout the pandemic. And with that, I believe we are at questions if you have anything for me. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Any questions or comments?
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, India. Since there's nothing else on the agenda, I motion to adjourn. All in favor? And anyone opposed? Excellent.
Thank you so very much, Mayor Byrne. Call to order the Board of Trustees meeting for this Tuesday, 15th, 2022. We'd like to call the order, please. And we welcome Ms. Sophia Stern today, who is filling in for our Board Secretary, Ms. Barrage. So welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us
Nice to be
today.
here.
Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Byrne?
Here.
Ms. Duarte? Here. Mr. Joyce? Mayor Kumar?
Here.
President Lucas?
Present.
Ms. McCall?
Here.
Ms. Moss?
Here telephonically.
Ms. Peo?
Here.
Mr. Serrano?
Here.
Mayor Weiss?
Here.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 in attendance.
All right. I hear the Vice President on the wire there, and also Terry was calling in. Is Mr. Joyce on the line? All right. I'll ask the technicians to let us know when he is able to join us. Would you please read the certification regarding the notice of meeting?
Mr. President, I first advise that notice of this meeting has been posted more than 24 hours in advance of the meeting, that the usual notification has been given the news media and other interested persons, and that all requirements of the Ohio Revised Code and rules and bylaws of the board regarding notice of meeting have been complied with.
All right, thank you very much. We need to have the approval of the January 25th board meeting. Is there a motion? So moved, Leo. Is there a second?
Second, Luce.
All right, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you very much. We have on the agenda, initially we were going to need to have an executive session, but we will not need to do that, so we can skip right on down to public comments. Anyone here present in the building or anyone on the phone? Anyone on the phone at all? Technicians who will say yes or no?
I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties with the Facebook feed. We do have one caller on the line.
All right, let's hear from them.
Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, thanks. Chris Martin from the City of Cleveland. Actually, as your technician just pointed out, you're having technical issues with your Facebook live stream. There is no audio coming through it. This is a repeated problem. I honestly do not understand how this agency has gotten consistently worse and worse at live streaming its meetings over the course of this 2+ year pandemic. I would have thought trend would have gone the other way. You would have gotten better at it with experience. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. I really ask that you guys get your act together. You hold your meetings at 9 o'clock in the morning when nobody can attend. When you stream them, nobody can, half the time there's no video. When there's video, half of that time there's no audio, so nobody can hear what you're talking about. You don't, you accept public comment only through the phone line now, and I can tell you it's a bad connection. You don't accept public comments through email any longer, which I don't understand.
30 seconds, sir.
And you don't accept it through your website anymore either. RTA, board members, get your act together.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any other calls online?
President Lucas, if I may, Mark Pettit, if you would be able to give an update regarding the streaming, that would be helpful. Thank you.
And there are no further callers online.
I apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having. Sometimes using services such as Facebook are outside of our control. We currently are streaming live via YouTube as a test and via Facebook. We've found those inconsistencies with Facebook, with logging on, due to changes on the Facebook platform that are completely outside of our control. So as a test here, we did not announce to the public, but we do have a live stream on YouTube with audio that is working now, and we will post that online to make it available.
Thank you very much. So making sure that everyone heard that, as well as the callers that's on the line. We do apologize for technical difficulties. We are asking for all callers to dial in or log in to YouTube, which does not require an account. Therefore, it should be open to all members of the public. Today was a test, and so we figured out that Plan B is necessary. We do ask all callers to switch over to YouTube. It is free to the public and does not require an account. Thank you.
All right. Is there another caller?
That was the only caller.
That was the only caller. Anyone, there's anyone here from the public wish to make a comment? All right. Thank you very much. We have now the opportunity for people to make reports, and I want to ask, I'll go down the line. Mr. Joyce on the line yet? No? Mayor Byrne, we've heard from you, is that correct?
That's correct. No further report.
Ms. Moss, do you have a report?
I have no report today.
All right. Dr. McCall? No. All right. And Roberta, you have a report? No report. And
Reverend Lucas,
yes.
if I might, for just a moment to remind the board, we did circulate our CEO and GM's self-evaluation for 2021, and we are asking that board members complete the evaluation for the compensation committee as we move forward over the next few weeks. So
Very good.
appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Paratransit is, I'm sorry.
Reverend Lucas. Yes, in regards to the ad hoc tech committee? Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies.
What are we doing? Your committee, not hers. Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm passing it on to her.
In regards to the ad hoc tech committee, we will be meeting February 23rd at 5 p.m. in the boardroom.
Good, thank you very much. Now, introduction of new employees, announcement of promotions. Are there any? Is George here?
Yes, we do. George is actually in transit. I believe that we do have a fill-in from the HR and training department. We've got Tiffany Holder.
All right.
Good morning, President Lucas. Good morning, Ms. Birdsong and members of the board. Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you. Good
yes.
morning. You have the sign?
You've got the clicker at the dais there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so for February 2022, our new hires are Ricardo Benson, operator, Chaz Derrico, operator, Yolanda Eggleton, operator, James Johnson, operator, Philip Johnson, operator, Julius McCorkle, operator, Ian Ramsey, operator, Denisha Robinson, operator, Chriselle Thompson, operator, Ronald Timberlake Jr., operator, and Jeffrey Tyler, operator. And also for February 22, we have promotions of Brian Dombowski, Assistant Equipment Manager, and Mr. Gerald Waite, Service Quality Supervisor of Rail. Proud to announce these new hires for February and promotions for February 2022. Thank you.
I want to ask you, what is the number of positions for operator on both the main line, the rail, and paratransit? Where do we stand on number of people that we can hire in each division?
Go ahead, Dr. Caven.
Yeah, this is Flonte Caver. Good morning, Reverend Lucas, members of the board. We have approximately 900 or so operators in the budget. There's about 350 at almost 400 at Hayden, another 300 at Triscuit, and 100 at paratransit and rail.
So that's how many short of the 900?
We are approximately 100 operators totally short.
And what is it, the rail or the bus or paratransit?
Yeah.
What's the number?
I can answer it. Do you want me to answer, George?
So let me interject for just a moment. So there's been a lot so that's a very good question. I appreciate that, President Lucas. So we have Tiffany Holder here, who is a newer member of our team on the recruitment for the operations side. George has just walked in, and of course, Doc is over operations. There's been a really strong concerted effort to be able to close that gap. So I will ask you, George, if you could be able to just run down briefly the efforts that have been made, and then also where you stand as far as the operator shortage that was indicated by Doc.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Birdsong, Mr. President, President Lucas. So as Dr. Caver mentioned, we're about 100 operators short of optimum service level for particularly bus and rail, or bus, rail, and paratransit. Most of the shortages in the bus and paratransit area. Over the last 7 to 8 months, a number of initiatives have been launched between operations, human resources, and marketing to cut into that shortage, to be aggressive with recruitment outreach to agencies such as Ohio Means Jobs, Tri-C, El Barrio, a number of community agencies that help us influx more applicants so that we could have opportunities to put more people in training. Right now, we have 50-plus people in training. So as we look at that 100 operators, there's 50-plus people that are going through the process to cut into that 100 operators. We have about 70-plus people as applicants in our process to work through the hiring process. And so as we look at 2022, we'll be doing more of these outreach events, particularly as COVID might provide us an opportunity to be more visible in the community, or lack of COVID might provide us with that opportunity to be more visible in the community. We'll be doing more outreach events, more job fairs, and keeping up that pace to cut into that shortage.
Of the 50 that are in training now, what is the division of where are they, each of the, how many in the paratransit, how many on the bus, how many in rail?
So roughly 20 plus at both Hayden and Triscuit. somewhere close to 20 in paratransit. We can get some exact numbers for you, though.
And of the 70, you have 70 applications that you're evaluating now.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
So there would be a possibility that let's say within the next 2 months, we would be able to close the gap.
We're really aggressive with how we work this approach. This is going to be more of a more than 2 months. I'd say within the next quarter, we should see some real progress if we can keep up these same numbers. So next quarter, as in May, June timeframe.
If I can lend a little bit of the perspective, so there's a lot of things that go into the hiring process, including attrition for retirements and discipline and accidents and things like that. So I think what we will do is take this as homework, and what I'd like to do is provide just a quarterly update to the board, just by way of check-in to be able to kind of advise you how we're attacking the operator shortage and where we are numbers-wise on the rail, paratransit, and bus side. When you start to be able to look at the rate of attrition in addition to kind of the great resignation that's going on along now with the pandemic and people working from home, we end up in a little bit of a tighter situation. And then also the burn rate when you get into drug, alcohol, and training, you do have a particular dropout rate as well. So I would imagine that we'll be able to hit probably half of what our goal is within the next quarter from what I'm hearing so far from the team. But I wouldn't imagine that we would actually solve the issue probably until year end. But we can come back to you with an update on that.
Very good.
Okay.
Any other? Yes, Ms. Lewis?
Yeah, my question is, what's the time frame it takes from hiring to operator?
To full-blown operator out on the street. So in the hiring process itself, Ms. Payo, the candidate goes through at least a 2 to 4 week time frame for the selection process. Once hired, then they go through 8 to 10 weeks of training before they actually hit revenue service or service out on the streets. Dependent on the operator candidates or the students' aptitude and abilities, that could be less or more by 1 or 2 weeks.
All right, any other questions?
I just have a comment, but you want to go first? All right. I just want to say thank you to the HR team. I've been meeting with them regularly, and I appreciate mentioning how important outreach is. And so during the holidays, there was an event, and we have representation from marketing, HR, other departments, and just talking about the agency and the positions that we have. Basically, meeting people where they are. It's not. I've discussed this and mentioned in other meetings. It's not just putting a flyer out there, but being present. So I just want to say thank you again for meeting people where there are our writers, our residents, and then also add that the HR team has been very aware of just how COVID has impacted our human behavior and how things are taken consideration. So when we have trainings and we're bringing people in, there's specific just guidelines and different things that we're trying to figure out how to better train these individuals. So again, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duarte.
All right. Someone else?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question, George. Is this where do we go meet our recruits? Like, well, what has worked the best in our recruitment process?
Ms. Moss, can you repeat? I did not hear kind of like the second part.
Yeah.
I think you were saying, where do we go to recruit?
Well, where do we go to recruit? And number two is, what has been the most effective for us during the pandemic? Is it events? Is it our website? Where is the best place for us to recruit?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Moss. It really is our event-based opportunities. So over the third and fourth quarter of 2021, we held a series of job fairs at our West Park station on the west side. Really good turnout for those events. Certainly, we were following a number of COVID protocols and precautions, but we saw really good turnout, particularly in August, and then we did it again in October. A number of agencies have helped us feed into those events and get people candidate ready or applicant ready. Particularly, I note Ohio Means Jobs and Tri-C to help us, market our event and get it out to the community. And so that has worked really well. As of late, as we've gone through the latter part of the fourth quarter and going into the first quarter, we've turned to virtual events where we do virtual interview days through canvassing a number of the community agencies to get candidates to join us virtually. And so, to answer your question very directly, I think the job fair event-based piece is really the best bang for our buck. That's where we hope to be able to return to here in the next month or so as weather improves and as hopefully the pandemic environment improves.
All right, any other questions to anybody else? Thank you very much. We thank you for your report. Thank you too for filling in there at the beginning of the report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. We now have our resolutions, and we're going to ask Stern to read them. 202213.
Expressing appreciation to the Honorable Michael P. Byrne for his service as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority and extending best wishes for many years to come.
I know this will be hard to get past because there'll probably be a lot of no's. But I'm asking you to not do that too. But really, Mayor Byrne has just been an excellent member of the board, a very fine person, and we're going to miss him. But I want to say on behalf of the board, thank you so much for your service. And anybody else want to have a word? Anybody else?
Yes, I'll go ahead and kick it off here. We do have a little bit of a not a gift, but a commemoration for you, a commemorative item, as in a plaque, to be able to say thank you. It's really instrumental, I think, in understanding the operations. And we've had some tricky projects that have come before you for review and feedback, and you've always been able to give us great guidance and I think good questions that are able to kind of make sure that we check the box in all of the right places. And so we just appreciate, you've been very easy to work with and just a cheerful person, so we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bert, if you don't mind coming over to me, we have this wonderful plaque. This is real gold.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Reverend.
If you ever run short, you can take this. But no, seriously, he's been such a fine board member, and all of us are appreciative for your work. And as I present this to you on behalf of the board and the staff,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's your jacket. All those in favor, aye?
You need a motion.
Aye.
Opposed,
We need a
no.
motion.
Thank you very much.
We need a motion.
20,
Mr. Chair?
we have a motion.
We need a motion, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry.
So-
Seconded.
Leo,
Second.
Second.
Mayor Weiss.
Mayor Weiss, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. You're very kind to me. All right, 2022-14.
Authorizing contract number 2021-123 with Safety Clean Systems, Inc. to provide parts, washer, tank services for a 3-year period in a total contract amount, NTE, $190,546.20, General Fund, Fleet Management Department budget.
Thank you. Is there a motion? So moved. Second? All right, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you very much. 2215.
Authorizing contract number 2021-127 with Moore Counseling and Mediation Services, Inc., to provide an employee assistance program for a base period of 3 years with 2 one-year options in an amount not to exceed $237,600 for the base 3 years and an amount not to exceed $79,200 for each option year for a total contract amount not to exceed $396,000. General Fund, Labor and Employee Relations Department budget.
All right, we have a motion? Second?
Second, Byrne.
Thank you. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. I always would like to make the statement as we do the resolutions that these have already been through committee. They've had an exhaustive look at in the staff to the board, and that's why they get to this point. All right? 2022-16.
Authorizing contract number 2021-188 with Ports Petroleum Company, Inc., for the furnishing of approximately 6 million gallons of ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel as specified and as required for a period of 3 years at a price of .0223 per gallon below OPIS index for year 1, .0223 per gallon below OPIS index for year 2, and .02223 gallon below OPIS index for year 3. General Fund, Fleet Management Department budget.
All right, you've heard that. Is there a motion?
So moved, Valerie.
Second? Second. All right, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you very much. 2022-17.
Authorizing contract number 2022-05 with Giro Incorporated for maintenance and support of the HASTA software system for a period of 3 years for a total price not to exceed $960,670. General Fund Innovation and Technology Division budget.
All right, you've heard that. A motion? So moved. Second? Second. All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. Thank you. 2022-18.
Authorizing contract number 2022-009 with AT&T Corporation to provide managed fat pipe router services for a period of 3 years in an amount not to exceed $208,800. General Fund Innovation and Technology Division budget.
You've heard that. We have a motion.
So moved, Valerie.
Second? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. 2022-19.
Removing section 628.03, amending sections 628.035 and 644.10, and moving sections 628.035 and 644.10 from the codified rules and regulations of the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority to the personnel policies.
All right, you've heard that. Is there a motion? Second?
Second, Valerie.
All right, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. 2022-20.
Removing section 628.04 from the codified rules and regulations of the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority and adding a new section 400.15 to the personnel policies.
All right, you've heard that. A motion?
So moved. Mayor West.
Second?
Second, Byrne.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you very much. 2022-20.
A reminder, Mr. President, this is the resolution that you will need to ask for a motion for reconsideration.
On that, on 21 or 21? That's 22, isn't it?
Oh.
We're just on 21.
We're just at 21.
2021 is the TPAS, Cheryl. Got one more to go.
Right. All right, go ahead, Ms. Stern.
Approving the authority's 2022 Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan, PTASP.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Second.
Second, Valerie.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Now, this is the one where 2022, that the legal department, give us the direction on that again, please.
I got it.
Authorizing an amendment to an existing utility agreement with Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company to relocate an existing duct bank in conjunction with extending electric service to the new Warrensville Van Aken substation, project number 60B, in an amount not to exceed $163,777.12.
And I move motion for reconsideration of this resolution.
All right, is there a second?
And I would request a roll call.
A roll call has been asked for reconsideration. All those, I'm sorry, call the roll, please, Ms. Stern. You'll be voting yes or no.
Mayor Byrne?
Could I get clarification on reconsideration?
This motion you considered last month, and it did not pass. There was a request for the city of Shaker Heights to address an ordinance or pass an ordinance, and they did at the 50-50 sharing. That ordinance has passed, and this now is appropriate for reconsideration. The desire of the board for the amendment of the CEI agreement that will reflect the resolution MOU and the ordinance MOU that has now passed by Shaker Heights.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay.
Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Duarte?
You vote, Mayor Byrne?
I vote yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we're calling the roll.
Ms. Duarte?
No, this is for the vote. You're voting.
You're voting yes or no for reconsideration.
You're voting on the motion for reconsideration. Mayor Byrne asked for clarification of the, and then you will vote on the resolution.
That's correct. Yes. Mayor Byrne said yes.
Yes.
Continue with the roll.
Ms. Duarte? Yes. Mr. Joyce is not here.
Yes.
You can't vote. You
Can't vote. Mayor Kumar?
Yes.
President Lucas?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Moss?
She can't vote. She's not here.
Ms. Peo?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano? Yes. Mayor Weiss?
Abstain.
We have 7 yeses and 1 abstention.
All right, thank you very much. Now, would you read 2022?
Authorizing an amendment to an existing utility agreement with Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company to relocate the existing duct bank in conjunction with extending electric service to the new Warrensville Van Aken substation, project number 60B, in an amount not to exceed $163,777.12.
Thank you. You've heard that. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, we want a roll call, please.
Mayor Byrne?
Yes.
Ms. Duarte? Yes. Mayor Kumar?
Yes.
President Lucas?
Yes.
Ms. McCall?
Yes.
Ms. Peo?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano? Mayor Weiss?
Abstain.
We have 7 yeses and 1 abstention.
All right, thank you very much. I also want to thank Ms. Stern. You did a very good job in going through reading all this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we now have the Secretary Treasurer's report from our very capable Treasurer, Secretary, etc.
Thank you, kind sir. Good morning, Reverend Lucas, members of the board. Happy to present the Secretary Treasurer report. And as has been customary, what I'll do is provide an overview of the general economic conditions that impact us, and also review the largest drivers of the largest components of our operating revenue. So I'll start off with the economic conditions, review the unemployment rate. As previously indicated, the data is obtained from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. U.S. unemployment rate for January 2022 was 4%. The December unemployment rates have steadily shown a decline when compared to the early part of 2021, and we're experiencing the lowest rates since March 2020. The U.S. rates stand at 3.9%, Ohio is at 4.5%, and Cuyahoga County is 4.1%. The unemployment growths, the employment growths, continue in leisure and hospitality, professional and business services, retail trade, transportation, and warehousing. At the end of the year, ridership for 2021 was 6.8% below 2020 levels. For January 2022, ridership was 1.22 million riders, which is 1.7% below 2021 January timeframe, when we had 1.25. That's indicated by the red dot that you see in January. So we have essentially 4 calendar years of data pre-COVID, and obviously the COVID impacted 2020 and 2021 and going into 2022. Passenger fares, January 2022 fare revenue amounted to $1.5 million, which is 10.1% higher than January 2021 and 6.5% higher than the budgeted amount. Mobile ticketing has been extremely strong for us, especially this month. It amounted to about $366,000, which is 16.5% higher than the same time, January 2021. Another component of our operating revenues that has been extremely strong throughout last year and obviously in January 2022 is sales tax. On the right side, you see a quick comparative as to the year-end numbers when we are looking at 2021 versus 2020 data. And as Ms. Birdsong indicated in her GM report, it was a 13.9% increase. Motor vehicles, watercraft, 20.3% higher. Online sales, very strong, 43% higher, and regular and statewide sales, 11.2%, being the largest components that make up the sales tax base. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to entertain any questions or provide any additional comments if necessary.
All right, questions to the Secretary Treasurer? Questions, board members? Board members? If not, very great report as usual.
Okay, thank you.
Very concise.
Thank you.
In place. Thank you very much. We now will hear from our general manager.
Good morning once again.
Do you mind if I make a comment? Oh, please.
Good morning. Okay, understanding that we did go through the quarterly report, I'll be pretty quick on the numbers here, but wanted to be able to give an update to the board and the listening public regarding a Federal Transit Administration announcement recently, in the last few days actually, for the fiscal year 2022 partial funding. You have a breakdown in front of you here. Cleveland, Greater Cleveland RTA will actually receive $20 million and change, if we want to go through the full number, $20,365,981. is the breakdown for the funding that we will receive through the process for 2022. This will be attributed to infrastructure projects. We are working through the process with NOACA and our state partners in order to determine the breakout of funding for RTA. We do take the lion's share typically because we are the larger agency. However, this $20 million investment in our ability to provide transit will be definitely realized on the infrastructure side, not to be mistaken with the operational budget. So we do appreciate the grant funding that has become available to us, and we'll be able to provide more detail as far as the allocation of that for projects as the year goes on.
Let me ask you this, General Manager. Would it be good at this time, not right at this moment, but to, we have several layers of people that have worked on this. First, the staff that put all the numbers together for the appeal. Then our legislators who worked on it, so forth. Shouldn't there be a communication from our board to the legislators and all who have worked on this? Anybody else want to speak on that? So will that be general consensus? We'll put something together on behalf of the Board of Trustees. All right, go
That
ahead.
would be just fine.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that, President. We actually, I don't want to jump the gun, but we are going down to Columbus tomorrow to be able to meet with our legislators. There's about 3 or 4 of us that are doing that, including Natoya Walker-Minor, Michael Shipper, and a couple of our other staffers that are going, in addition to myself, to be able to meet one-on-one with a lot of the supporters that we have representing the state to be able to say thank you, and then also talk about new projects that are coming up so we can ask for additional funds. Always take advantage of opportunities to do that. So we'll make sure to convey your thanks and then also take anything that is documented along with us. To that end, Ohio Loves Transit, might as well talk about it while I'm up here, is also going on where we have a marketing video that our esteemed president is actually in, as well as myself, to say thank you for legislative support. So that video will be rolled out to those legislative bodies as well during that time. So we do have it on video, and you are represented by President Reverend Lucas, but additional written support is always appreciated.
Could I ask,
All right.
Could I ask
Yes.
a question?
Yes, Mayor.
As we're talking to, just for those of us that maybe are not as quite as familiar with the grant funding, it says partial funding. Does that mean that's a?
It is not the full pot. So there was a bucket, so to speak, of upwards of 70 million, and Cleveland's apportionment is around that $20 million mark. Raj, if you'd, or Mike, either one, if you'd like to be able to give a quick update to be able to break down those numbers, that would be great.
Yes. The partial funding, this is out of the Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act for the next 5 years. Because Congress has not passed the full budget for the United States government, we are at a partial funding level instead of a full year funding level. So this represents about 3/8, 4.5 months is about 3/8 of the fiscal year that is already passed. We don't know what the actual final numbers will be because of the way the programs are set up. So the 5307 that you see is basically our urban grant that funds a lot of the bus-related items, and it can fund some of the rail items also. The 5337 is targeted to, it's called State of Good Repair, but it is targeted to the rail system. And then 5339 is bus and bus facilities, and because of the way the formulas work, the initial allocations went to the states and not to the transit agencies. So that's why that's 0. Just the way the law is set up for the distribution of the formulas. So hopefully, when they're talking about Congress passing the full budget sometime in March, then we will be able to get the full numbers And we're hoping that we will have those full numbers when we bring the capital program to you in May. Because we would like to base our 5-year capital program off the full numbers. So stay tuned.
Great, thank you.
Well said. Thanks, Mike. Any additional questions on this particular slide? Okay. All right. The next update as part of my report today is more of a community support update. There's the 31st annual Homeless Stand Down. If you've heard of this before or are familiar with this event, it will be occurring at First Energy Stadium on Saturday, April 23rd of this year. This is typically an event that RTA supports by way of transit passes, providing one-day passes for the participants of this event. We will be doing the same thing this year. You do see a list of sponsors and partners on the right-hand side of the slide. RTA is at the top. This is also to assist with those that find themselves unbanked and potentially homeless, to be able to put them in contact with resources to be able to get back on their feet. And RTA is a partner in this event. So we look forward to this. And again, we have supported this on an annual basis, and we're doing that again this year. Also wanted to give a quick update on traction. This might be a relatively new term that you might be hearing for the first time. You might have heard us say transit stat in the past. It's our internal rebranding of that particular performance analysis and metric initiative. This is to actually rebrand transit stat to traction as a means to be able to push our performance targets and metrics through the scorecards that we brought to you earlier in the month. We will be branding it traction and also tracking the success outcomes, the 4 sort of tenets of success that we went through before. The idea in bringing this to you today is to let you know that we are on track with our customer surveys. That is the key that is missing in our current data sourcing. So those customer surveys and community surveys are actually going out on board with our customers, finding out how we're doing, being able to get the information straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and being able to calculate that along with our Net Promoter Score and also our metrics and deliverables that were set by division for RTA. So we'll be able to come back to you later on in the quarter with an update for quarter 1 now that we have that populated. We actually are out on the system now, and I believe we've got another week or so to go, Natoya, for that surveys.
Just to chime in, they completed yesterday, so they completed 1,190 surveys on the bus and on the rail.
Perfect. So that's a pretty big subset of population. Yes, Mayor Kumar.
Is this using the Net Promoter Score methodology?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is definitely a new way of looking at the data and also taking more of a personal opinion, public opinion, and weighing it along with our deliverables to make sure that we're on track as far as attaining the goals that are set within our strategic plan. So we'll come back to you later in the quarter to be able to give a bit of an update. I believe we're set for May to be able to review quarter 1 data. And again, this is the crawl before you walk. So the surveying is something that was a missing portion of this, and we're proud to say that we're moving forward with that without hesitation.
Excuse me, and there, this is Karen.
Yes.
Just a question is, how are we making sure that we're getting a proportional amount of all the red line, the green line, the blue line, the buses, the paratransit? So I think that I heard Natoya say there were the target was 1,500 and we had a little over 1,000. I don't know if I saw that correctly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how do we know that we've got a good demographic?
Sure, that's a great question. What we can do is be able to break down that 1,000 into rail, paratransit, and bus. I believe that paratransit was a separate surveying that was right alongside the others. We want to make sure that we hit that 1,500 target if we can. We did find that some individuals were a little hesitant to be able to give information. This is a new process. We were providing information and capturing it via iPad, if I'm not mistaken. And we also had a one-day pass for those individuals that did participate. And again, this is where we want to be able to just get raw feedback. We're not asking anything of the customer. So we will continue to get people used to this surveying methodology, but we can come back to you with details on the breakdown. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natoya.
To follow up on that, I have not seen the survey, but isn't there something on the survey that lets you know what they are talking about, whether it's red line or paratransit?
That identifies the customer?
Yeah.
Yes. There should be as well. So what we can do is we'll provide a quick sample. I think that might be helpful for the board as well.
Yeah. So you can break it down and let us know where it goes.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
do have a question as well. Are we also addressing people that English is their second language?
Oh, ESL as far as the surveying?
Yes.
I believe we are for Spanish, correct? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Great question. Okay. I'll keep it moving. All right. We have our community to immunity bus. Just wanted to give a quick update. We were at Lunar New Year. We did have 36 shots that were given at that particular event. We had support from our mayor as well as the CEO, Elaine who was actually over the event and had a great turnout there. We wanted to make sure you guys understood that we are currently at 844 shots that have been given as a result of that vaccination vehicle that we have put into service. So right now we are working with the Cleveland Department of Public Health. They have attributed 516 vaccinations, and Care Alliance is responsible for nearly 300. So we appreciate that, and we'll continue in that vein. Also, the NBA All-Star, just to give a quick update as it's quickly approaching this weekend. This is just a visual, so you can see how we are starting to deck the hall, so to speak, with the Tower City Tunnel that actually will provide a quick marketing for the event. It's a combination of our efforts alongside the Cavs and the NBA. As you have been given, we have masks that are also branded, as well as a lot of different banners. And we also have trolley service that will be operating in support of this event. Again, it has been approved by the FTA, and we have marketing that will be bringing folks to and from the event. We're really excited about that as well. With that also concludes my report. However, I would be remiss without mentioning the upcoming birthday of our board president, Reverend Lucas. So we do want to wish him a very happy birthday. I will not say the number. Every number is important, and we appreciate your time as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, we were given these masks, and now, am I correct, Ms. Minor, that if we put this mask on, we can get in the game?
You should be able to have a really good jump shot. You put them on. They're like the
Thank you. These are very, very nice. Great, that's fine.
Are we going to have like ambassadors throughout? Yeah.
Yes, really good question, Luz. And I'll be really fast. We are going to have ambassadors. It'll be internal operations staff as well as City Year. We're partnering with City Year. If you're familiar with them, they have the red jackets and the tan pants, khakis, usually college-age students or older that are going out and making sure that we kind of have the wayfinding and getting people from the airport to the event. So yes.
All right, thank you very much.
I just have a comment. May I? Thank you. I just want to say, yeah, I love the mask, and I think it's a great opportunity. We're rebranding with MBA. I also think we should reinforce just the use of masks for our riders and our operators throughout these festivities and obviously afterwards. I know the mayor has this citywide vaccine campaign, and so it's a good opportunity for us, the agency, to just support that and again, continue to make sure that everyone's safe. Here in Cleveland, our visitors, but again, just reinforcing the use of masks. That's all.
Absolutely. President Lucas, I believe we've got one member of our gallery that wants to mention. Shipper?
Oh, and related to the Vax bus and the All-Star game, we will have the vaccine bus on Public Square on Friday from 9 to noon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. 9 to noon.
Very prominent location.
Absolutely.
And we want to get as many shots in the arm as possible. So that's so it's important. Let your constituents know.
Yep. Thanks, Mike. That will be Care Alliance that will be partnering with us on that.
Very good. Thank you. Any other statements at this time?
Reverend, if you don't mind, a quick statement. You caught me a little bit off guard, and I'd like to thank you and Ms. Birdsong for the very kind comments and words that you presented me with today. Reverend, I would ask you if you could do me one favor. I'm spending a lot more time at home, retired. If you could call my wife, put a good word in with her. I don't think that she's on the same level as you and Ms. Birdsong right now. I think I'm bothering her a little bit. But very quickly, I'd like to, I've been very cautious and careful when you go to thank people that you forget someone, and I don't want to do that today. But I do want to thank all my fellow board members. They have been fantastic to work with. Just a true pleasure. And all the directors. I know I've worked with some a lot closer than others. I don't want to name you, but I really appreciate the patience that you've had. And I know the commitment and the dedication you have to RTA. If we could just get some of the public to realize what really goes on here, I think that would help immensely. And last but not least, I'd like to thank, we have some consistent attendees here, Lou and Brian. I want to thank you for your attendance. I want to thank you for your patience when you've asked me questions and it's taken a while to get back to. But most of all, I want to thank you when you do have a disagreement or you do have some criticisms, the professional manner and the courteous manner in which you approach the board and RTA here. That is much, much appreciated. Thank you, and I wish the very best to everybody here going forward.
Give him a great hand. Again, we certainly are going to miss you, Mayor Byrne, and we wish you well. I'm not going to even try to commit. I'm going to call your wife about anything, because I know I had a wonderful marriage for some 40 years before, unfortunately, my wife became quite ill and died in 2005. And every now and then, someone would call her from the church to give advice. I need not tell you that when I came home, she started off by saying, "You tell Miss So-and-so if she has something to say it to you, but not to me." But I thank you again, Mayor Byrne. You've just been wonderful. President's report. As you know, I stay involved with the staff and things that are going on almost every day. And I consider it a joy, though, because everyone is working so hard to make our transit system even better and better and better. The second snowstorm, we weathered that, and there were some learning pieces from before, and you were working well. I know our general manager and her staff has set up a situation with the city and with the county so that when these things happen, you're in constant contact back and forth. So to you and to Doc and to the rest of the staff, Ms. Minor and others that been working closely on this. I don't want to miss any names, but I certainly want you to know I appreciate it. As you know, this is time for a election that will happen at the annual meeting, and it's up to me as president to appoint a nominating committee, and I have asked so that all three entities are represented, that it be Mr. Joyce, Dr. McCall, and Mayor Kumar be our nominating committee for this year. You have a note out from me and from Ms. Barrage. If you wish to run, please get that in by Monday so that the committee can do their work. Outside of that, you said some nice things about my birthday. You wouldn't mention the year, but I am delighted to mention the year that if the Lord lets me live till next Friday, I will be 81 years old. And people tell me all the time, "Oh, you don't look 81. You don't look 80." Well, I am. And I'm just thankful that I've been able to have such a wonderful ride along the line pastoring actively for 56 years. Last week, I preached 3 funerals. When I leave here today, I preach the funeral of a dear person I've known through the years. So I stay busy with that. And of course, with the funeral home, I'm still the chairman of the Mayor's Commission on Community Relations, and that keeps me very busy. I've said this to you before, and I'll repeat it again. What happened to me, it's been 17 years ago when I was going into my home and I collapsed, and they took me over to the hospital and found a large tumor on my spine. And the surgeon stood over me and said, "We leave it on, you'll be in a nursing home the rest of your life, but if we take it off, you'll be in a wheelchair." And after the surgery, coming out of the recovery room, we were going down a hallway, and we passed by where there were some leaflets on the wall. And one of the leaflets fell off and fell on my chest. When I turned it over, the leaflet said, "Do not let a wheelchair define your life." And I have lived with that message, that even though I cannot stand, I'm a true paraplegic, I try my best to keep going. The paratransit people know me so very well, and I don't represent just myself, but I represent people in wheelchairs and walkers, the blind, other people that have had strokes, some people. I leave you with this. I was on the bus one day, and a young man came and he sat next to me, and I try to always talk to everybody. And I said to him, "How long have you been in a wheelchair?" He said, "Since birth." Since birth. So I've never walked, never been able to stand. And then he said something else. He said, "And I don't want to, because I'm so thankful that I have what I have." And that kind of hits home often, that we want to do this and want to do that. I guess I have one last thing. Ms. Minor, I'm like your husband. I'm closing 5 times. But the last thing is that I'm just so thankful that this board has been so very kind to me, our relationships, and of course, the staff. So again, thanks. I see there's some cupcakes over here. I think there's 81 of them over there. And please feel free to have one, and I thank you very much. Any old business? I guess I'm old. I'm the old business. Any old business? Tony, I'm the old business. Tony nodded his head when I said old business. Any new business? Any new business? All right, we have public comments. Public comments. We have them here. Are there anybody on the line as well?
We currently have 2 callers on the line.
All right, hearing first from you. Gentleman who's here in the hall.
Thank you, Chairman, or President Lucas, and board members, and CEO Birdsong. I want to echo what's been said about Michael Byrne. I didn't introduce myself. Brian Gibbons, Fairview Park. And a number of years ago in this building, me and a couple other folks from Clevelanders for Public Transit had a meeting with Mayor Byrne. And it was up on the 5th floor, and I think it was in one of those rooms where they do performance evaluations. So I think there was a little anxiousness on the part of the mayor. But on the other hand, it was a great meeting, a great way to get to know him. And we know that GCRTA, just like Cleveland and the county and the region, have challenges. But Mayor Byrne was always a straight shooter and appreciate his service. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else here? All right, come on. Good to see you.
Good morning, everybody. Today is one important day, not because just the Lantern Festival to mark the end of the Lunar New Year celebration for me, so I'm still having red, and it's also a day that our GCRTA, especially the board, has a lot to celebrate. we have had good board members learning about transit system, transit issues, offering what they know, what they are specialized in, to help the riders and the GCRTA administration to improve altogether. Of course, today, Mr. Byrne, this is your last meeting, but you did tell me right now you have a newfound passion to public transit. So even you are retired, don't forget us, please. Also appreciate our Reverend Lucas being our board president. Our transit service, especially the paratransit service, has been dramatically improved. Of course, still room to improve. Just like you are not only limited by your 81 years in life. We know you will be going and leading everybody in spirit. You know, doesn't matter where you are. And same thing, we also appreciate Mr. Serrano and our dear Dr. McCall. Even the mayor of Cleveland has announced the new people
30 seconds.
To continue your good work, but you will never be forgotten. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to all of you.
All right. We're ready for anyone else here? All right. We're ready for the telephone.
One moment, please. All right. Caller extension 2137, you're on the air.
Cool, yeah. Chris Martin, City of Cleveland again. You likely heard in my voice earlier a lot of frustration. That's because I'm very frustrated with this agency. I'm thinking about January 17th and the board meeting following, where I heard lots and lots of congratulations on the failure of providing service that day. I'm thinking about the lies that this agency has told about the installation of its bioshields on its buses. I'm thinking about the lies that this agency has told about the provision of mask dispensers to operators and its obstinate refusal to install mask dispensers on board buses and trains. I am frustrated by the non-urgency in restoring all-door boarding on the health line and expanding it to the entire bus system. I am frustrated by the lack of a modern fare collection system. I am frustrated with this board that has shown no interest in a levy to provide this agency with
30
the
seconds, sir.
funding it needs, the first increase it would see since its creation in 1975. But what I would like to do today is to call on the board to demand that the performance management system Traction, that is apparently getting a rebrand, Cool, will be public facing.
10 seconds, sir.
We need to see what you guys are doing. We need to see it. Make it public facing.
Ms. Birdsong, do you want to have a word?
Sure. Just due to the nature of some of the public comment that was made, we do have immediate answers, so I'll take this opportunity to address some of those items. I'll be very brief. January 17th, we again apologize for any rollback in service. However, the health, life, and safety of our customers and our operating staff are paramount. We have to keep that into view at any given time, and that was a result on that day. As was indicated by our president, we have continued to work with the city to ensure that road safety is at the top of the list to ensure that our vehicles can pass without issue. Regarding installation of shields, we do have that on 90-some-odd% of our vehicles, and we'll continue to replace and repair as needed. We also have masks that are available with all operators. They're given out at the check-in at our districts as well. We'll continue to make sure that they're replenished and make sure that we have some at Tower City as well for those that need them. Fare collection, just to give a quick update on that. We are actually embarking upon a fare replacement program. It's very much long time needed. So I understand the sentiments and the frustration of the customer. We're very excited about that. We expect to bring that to the board in the coming months for approval. And also regarding traction, we absolutely will make that public once we kind of get our sea legs. We are working through the data, and we do expect to have that as an installation on our public website once we have the data populated. So we appreciate this. All of these efforts, in my estimation, do and are necessary in order for us to be able to entertain a future levy at some point at the pleasure of this board and with our riding public. We have to make sure that we invest in ourselves first. So we thank you for your investment and your support and your patience as we continue to improve.
All right, next call.
One moment. Caller extension 4389, you're on the air.
Hi, my name is Miss Holden, and I was calling to say thank you to Miss Birdsong. I think you've done a wonderful job. I take the bus regularly, and I have done it for years. But I have a couple things I would like to ask. Could RTA please shovel out the bus stops? It's very hard for us to catch the bus in the street, and we can't get to them on the sidewalk. And I want to talk about the number 18 bus. I take the bus from the post office at 8745 Broadway. When I leave the post office, I like to catch the number 18. That 18 bus hardly ever stops there. There is a sign saying that 18 does stop there, but a lot of times they ride right past us. They say they don't see us. Okay, that's another issue. I've been left there like 3 times. And I want to ask, can we have a bus to go around Steel Yard Common from Target all the way out? Because a lot of times we have bags and we have to cross the street and catch the bus on the other side of the street in order to go back home. But if we had a bus inside the Steel Yard Commons, it would make it much easier for us to get where we're going and not have to cross the street and catch the bus to go back home. So those are my comments.
30 seconds,
I
ma'am.
thank you very much. And I thank you very much for everything. Bye.
Thank you. We will review those comments.
Any other callers?
That was the last caller.
That was the last caller. Very good. We thank people who have been here in the room with us, and I thank those who have called in. Your comments are always taken down and followed up by the staff. The next regular board meeting and the annual meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March the 29th, in the boardroom of the Authority of the Route McBride Building, 1240 West 6th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113. This meeting will be live streamed on RTA's Facebook page, www.facebook.com/RideRTA.
And YouTube.
And YouTube for staff and members of the public. The public is welcome to attend in person. May we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Valerie.
Is there a second?
Second, Leah.
It's not debatable. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, board. Stop by and have a cupcake on your way, everybody.